Toxic positivity is the practice of excessively encouraging positive thinking and minimalizing or dismissing negative emotions, even in difficult situations. It often involves phrases like, look on the bright side, or everything happens for a reason, which can invalidate a person's real feelings and create pressure to appear happy despite hardship. While optimism and positive thinking can be beneficial, toxic positivity rejects all difficult emotions in favor of a cheerful and often falsely positive facade. So that is the definition of toxic positivity. And I kind of want to show people how they can respond without toxic positivity, especially when it comes to like their friends, lover, yada yada yada. Alright, we're going to be using pens for examples. I love using pens, okay? This is you. This is your friend, right? A lot of times when a friend uses what is the definition? Wait a minute. Okay. Self-deprecating jokes. Often there's always some sort of painful truth to them in their eyes. Right? You don't want to fix your friend. You want to help your friend. Realize that people are very complex. And just because they see themselves like that doesn't mean you see yourself like that, right? But you should never make someone feel like their emotions are dismissed or everything is always sunshine and rainbows. People who make self-deprecating jokes and don't see themselves in a positive light is because they have dealt with a lot of things in their life, whether it be people that they know who say mean things, partners, family, the whole ladder. Those voices that they express in self-deprecating jokes are not their own thoughts. However, they believe those thoughts because people in their lives have told them things that they observed from them. I have to put the pencils down real quick. Okay. When someone you know say things like, oh, I'm ugly, so I don't have to worry about that. There are many ways you can go about this. You can either be like, no, you're not. That can be dismissing their feelings. You can be like, oh, I'm sorry you see yourself like that. However, I see you in da-da-da-da. Proceed to list positive things. When someone feels like this, especially when you know that they originally didn't say those things, but then they start saying it, there's a sense of trust, from what I believe. There's a sense of trust that they are open to you to where they can say these things that they normally keep to themselves. It's hard. It's hard, I know. It's hard to have a friend who doesn't see the beauty within themselves because they are so blinded by the hate and the words that people have said that became their internal monologue. However, toxic positivity is never the way. Because like I said, you don't want someone to feel like they have to suppress their emotions because of you. Of you. So, like I said, there are a few ways you can go about this. Validate. Just because you validate how they feel doesn't mean you agree, okay? That's the biggest thing. You can validate what they say, but also disagree. And it's also not your job to always be their cheerleader, because that can be really draining. You are important as much as your friend is, okay? And I know sometimes, depending on this friend can either be really good or really bad. There is a difference between people who leech onto you for validation, and there are people who reciprocate in the friendship. However, they still feel how they feel, but they aren't putting that burden on you, unlike someone who is clung to you and needs that validation. Recognize the difference. The difference is, sorry. Even if they feel how they feel, they are still putting effort into their friendship and are not relying on your words to make them feel better. The difference between someone who's clingy is that it will always be consistent in the sense of, oh, I don't look so good today, and they're like baiting for compliments, right? And this is all from just my personal experience. Everyone is different. However, I'm sharing my experience, so hopefully it can help someone. But they will consistently cling on to you and always be like, oh, I feel this, I feel that, I feel this, I feel that. And you always have to reassure them. And they're always like, oh, well, like they just, they just always suck your energy away. And they need that validation from you so they can feel their worth. Versus you wanting to help someone without them needing you to feel their worth. Because if you're a true friend and you have someone who doesn't see their beauty unlike you want to help them out in a way to where they don't need you to see what's inside. They will see what's inside of themselves with the encouraging words you say, right? Because I feel a lot of people, when it comes to positive toxicity, they want to like fix people who don't feel how they see them. And you shouldn't want to fix your friend, you should want to help your friend. Because no matter what, at the end of the day, it's not your job to fix whomever it may be. It's your job to help them and care for them. And, like I said, see the way how they validate how they feel, but give them a different perspective, because that does a lot. Because it shows the person who may have struggle seeing themselves that I don't see you that way. I see you in a different light that you may have not seen before, but I want to show you that I don't see you that way. Those thoughts from past people, I'm not one of those thoughts. Be that new perspective without forcing yourself to be that perspective. And I mean that in the sense of toxic positivity. Like, oh yeah, no, you're great, you're amazing, you're not this, you're that, you're that. No. Because that never ends good. Right? And the best thing you can do, no matter what, at the end of the day, is just be there for them. Right? Feel how you think is natural. Don't make it feel forced. If it comes up, you can always, sometimes they just need that voice to kind of get them out of their head. Like, say, hey, we're here right now. That's one way. Because sometimes, coming from experience, it can be really exhausting to always be that person, to be the helper, or I don't want to say helper per se, but be that extra lens. It's exhausting, right? So if you do feel yourself being exhausted, you can always kind of just be like, just get their attention. Either lightly say their name, or just draw them away from those thoughts. But not be like, hey, we're here. Like, just have a gentle voice and be like, hey, like, just engage them and get them out of their heads. Because, especially, being the person who used to be like this and now is this, it's hard to get out of your head. And even if you don't think your words are being placed anywhere, they are. It may not be shown, but people who have this mindset, they may not believe it always, but they do appreciate it. Granted, I've never really had that help when it comes to a person being like this. However, there are certain things that sometimes takes me back into the cycle a little bit. But now I have someone who is this, and they tell me that, hey, like, what you're saying is true. And those things help, even if, you know, times I may not really believe it. I still appreciate it, because sometimes you just need, like I said, it's just the voice. It's like the voice. You need something, or those people need something that takes them out of their head and their thoughts of whatever triggered it. You know, they just need that moment of like, hey, let's like, we're here right now. You know, I don't know what triggered that, but we're here right now. Let me help you, so you aren't in that mind space. That mind space. That mind space, right? And like I said, don't invalidate what they say. The biggest thing you can do is let them know that they're being seen and they're being heard, but you don't think that way. And even if you get to that point to where you may feel yourself get a bit tired out, you don't always have to be like, oh, I see you this way, you're amazing, you're this, you're that. You still have other ways, like I said. Sometimes a little, I just don't see you that way. It doesn't have to be some grand thing. Just let them know that you don't see them that way. You don't always, like I said, don't always have to say it. Sometimes you're like, okay, we're here right now. They just need that snap back in the moment, right? That's what they need. And hopefully one day they'll believe it, even if it takes months or years. You just being there and being a good friend means a lot to them, more than you know. You know, they may not say it, but it means a lot to them. Especially if it's people who have a heart of gold. And like I said, they won't say it, but just know that they appreciate it. And as for the people who cling to you and your energy, that's not healthy. Someone shouldn't make you be the reason that they're living, or you are the reason that they see validation. They should learn that validation and that recognition that they're more than what they see on their own. Because having someone who's like this is unhealthy for you and them. Because like I said, I've had personal experience like this, and it can go dark fast. You are your own person outside of your friendship. Don't let the friendship be the only reason that, you know, it takes all your time away from your life. You have a life outside that friendship, and so do they. So don't let your friendship be the only reason why they get their self-worth. But that's it for toxic positivity today. Hopefully this does help someone, like, genuinely. Like, if you have any questions, I'll try my best to, like, answer them. So yeah, I'm Nola. Thank you for coming from the channel. I have this duck. It's nice knowing you.